Hey yo, what's up guys, John Boogle here. Today we got the redux for floating continent for Into the Future chapter 1. Of course the old guide still works, but there's a lot of people out there that don't quite know how to use a guide, so I'm gonna break things down even further. Because a large majority of people just go into a video or a guide, they copy the lineup and they go into the stage and ignore everything else. So listen closely because the guide is just not the lineup. There's hundreds of lineups for this stage and there isn't one specific one. There's just a specific strategy and certain units that are effective in the stage. So don't stress if you don't have the exact same lineup, the exact same levels. It's not meant to be that way. A guide is supposed to be a guideline to push you into the right direction. Anyways, let's talk about the most important thing, which is not the lineup or even the strategy, but the treasures. Not gonna waste too much time here, just get all the treasures. It makes everything a complete joke, even with level 20 units. And yes, that means all of the previous treasures from Empire of Cats chapter 1, 2, and 3. If you want to cut corners and only get the alien treasures or the floating treasures for the moon stage, you can do that, but it's best to just get all of them while you're here. If you for some reason don't know how to grind treasures, then this is for you. All you need to do is check the event schedule right here. So all you need to do is set up notifications every time a treasure festival is on. You can get Empire of Cats, or in this case, Into the Future treasure festivals. Every time those treasure festivals are on, get on Battle Cats and start grinding those stages. It's as simple as that. Don't try to force treasure grinding when there's no treasure festival. Just be on time for those treasure festivals and you'll be done with the treasures very quickly. Also, a thing for the notifications, make sure you have push notifications enabled for the Battle Cats app, otherwise you won't get notified even though you did click the treasure festival or whatever notification reminder in the menu there. But anyways, into the lineup. Now once again, don't just look at the lineup and hop into the stage because this is not the lineup we're going to be using. But I'm going to use this lineup to explain some things. So of course the baseline here is 3 meat shields or 3 stallers. So if you happen to have Cube Cat like I do, make sure you do use it. If you happen to have Crazed Cats, make sure you use them. But at least have 3 stallers or 3 meat shields. Now you can do it with 2 or 1 if you have, let's say, Rover Cat, which is in the lineup here as an example, but of course we will showcase how Rover does in later runs into the video where we use different lineups. But for this one, he's just there as an example. So the baseline, of course, 3 meat shields. Once you have that, then you can move on to the next part of your lineup, which is your anti-alien units. And once again, I'm going to mention Rover here because it is a nice unit to have. It can act as a meat shield, but also it can do some nice chip damage or even carry the stage with the treasures, of course. So that is one solid option for the stage. But there's other roles you need to fulfill in this stage because the boar pushes very hard. So what you need is crowd control units. So your anti-alien crowd control units, stuff like Psycho Cat. And since there isn't too much anti-alien crowd control units, a unit like Magica Cat can work in place. Of course, there's Healer and Little Macho Legs and Headmaster Cat Jobs, stuff like that. Or Ubers that can crowd control alien units, but all you really need is Onmyoji Cat or Magica Cat. Then of course Psycho Cat. If you don't have either, don't stress out too much because you can always use a unit like Castaway, which can fulfill a DPS role and a crowd control role at the same time. And of course, if your units are high enough level, you won't really even need any crowd control units. With the treasures, you can just burst down Boar and kill it in a couple seconds. Of course, if you have Urarun Wolf, it is a nice one for this stage as well. But main thing is have at least 1 alien or anti-alien crowd control unit, then you should be fine. The best option is of course Castaway being a DPS and crowd control unit at the same time, with great survivability as well. And if you're still wondering what I mean by crowd control units, it's units that can freeze, slow, knockback, or weaken a certain trait, in this case alien. Knockback I don't recommend too much in the stage because there is of course an alien moth in the stage which can be a detriment, so I would go for the freeze, slow, and weaken crowd control units for the stage. The rest of the lineup is pretty much up to you because all you need is just damage, so fill in your DPS units. Of course we have Castaway as an example. Crazed Whale is a really easy unit to get in the beginner phase, and it is a very powerful unit to have in the stage and moon. So if you don't have Crazed Whale, go get Crazed Whale. I'm pretty sure you can do it and there's a guide right here. But yeah, the rest of the lineup is just basic DPS attackers. So Crazed Whale, Dragon, Paris, Ring Girl, whatever you're using, Drama Cats, those general DPS units, or even stuff like Vaulter Cat, Swimmer, stuff like that can help out in this stage as well. And Bahamut is just here as filler as well, can get some nice damage on boar, but is mostly used in the beginning of the level for this strategy. If you have better Ubers and stuff, just replace Bahamut, because that's the best thing to do. That's pretty much it for the lineup explanation. Let's hop into the stage. Now, you don't really need any power-ups at all. If you're really struggling, then just get the treasures. In the beginning, we just want to use this opportunity to stack as much cash as possible. So don't be too hasty and don't hit the base too early. Otherwise, boar comes out and you'll be unprepared. Now, when these angel hippos start coming out, that's when you want to start pushing forward a little bit with your stallers or your meat shields. No attackers right now, just save up your cash. If you're wondering what I'm doing right here is I was testing if Psycho Cat can actually take a hit from the peons at level 1, and of course it was able to do so. So that's nice. I did not need to level Psycho Cat to level 10. But once these hippos come to the base, all you need to do is just either stack up your DPS units like whatever you're using, Paris, Dragon, Drama Cats, Crazed Whale. You can take them out that way, but we're going to use Bahamut here for the purpose of wiping out the hippos. This will save us some cat limit and will allow us to stack up more crowd control units for when we hit the base. So yes, absolutely do start stacking up all of those crowd control units. The main issue in this stage really is the cat limit, because if you hit the cat limit when you hit the base, if you don't have enough crowd control units up there with Bahamut, then boar can push through very easily. So just make sure you don't send out too many meat shields here as you push up, and make sure you send out enough crowd control units to support your attackers. Now, of course, when that base hit moment happens, Bowl Cut Boy is going to come out. And from here, if you have enough cash, then you're pretty easy, smooth sailing. That's why it's best to just max out all of your cash in the beginning of the stage so you won't have to worry about it later. But from here, it's just spam your attackers, spam your meat shields, and just overwhelm boar. As you can see here, Psycho Cat is doing exceptionally well being still level 1, so you don't need to level your crowd control units for them to be effective in stages like this. Of course, in the future, you're gonna have to upgrade them to level 30 to get them to true form to increase their abilities and unlock talents and such, but for now we can slide by with level 1 Psycho Cat and level 10 Magika Cat here. Of course, just like the previous guide, the older guide, the power of combining slow with weaken against the boar just puts them to a complete halt. During the downtimes where the boar is not slowed and manages to push through, it is most likely going to be weakened and your cats will be able to survive that push. And during the downtimes the weakens are not up, the slow is up, and boar is just unable to move. So it's perfect coverage for boar and can easily stop him in his tracks. Of course, freeze is the ultimate ability here, and castaway does that job very well while also providing a large amount of damage. Also, dragon is kind of crucial for the second half of the stage because you're gonna have to go against moth. Well, of course, Crazed Whale can just obliterate moth and just power through. But it's nice to have a dragon stacked there for safety because it does outrange the alien moth. Also, look at the power of Crazed Whale here, just a extreme power unit to have for all of these stages in the beginner phase. So make sure you do get Crazed Whale. It's not like you need Crazed Whale or anything, but having Crazed Whale is just a massive difference. Especially on Moon, where Crazed Whale can pretty much just solo the stage. Yeah, there we go. Boar gets shredded right there, and let's move into some more example lineups. In this lineup, we're using Castaway as one of our made crowd control units, and Magika Cat is still there as always. Then we have a general attacker with the ring girl there, and of course Crazed Whale is here to stay. But as you can see here, like I mentioned previously, you can use your attackers to just sweep up the hippos in the beginning, or Bahamut. It's really your choice, but using Bahamut in the beginning allows you to stack up more crowd control units. But we have Castaway in the lineup, so that's completely irrelevant. And of course in this one we got Rover, and our attacker is Crazed Whale once again, and Castaway filling that attacker / crowd control role. And as you can tell, we have no Magika this time because Castaway is just that fit for the stage, and bringing Rover is a huge help to just keep boar in place by constantly staying in the front. And we got Balrog here just to wipe away anything in his path. So if you have these powerful units, you can just push the stage and extremely overwhelm it, because with the treasures, boar just gets shredded so easily. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Floating Continent. Drop a like if this guide helped you out. Of course, subscribe if you're new, join the #Boogle gang. and we'll be back for Moon Redux guide soon. See ya!